Hello, Darren. How are you today?
Good.
My name's Chris Darling, and I'm your therapist today.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice day out today, isn't it?
Yeah, not bad. A little cool.
Yeah. So I got the window open over here. It's nice. My name is Chris Darling. I hold a LCAC, and I'm here to assist you today in whatever your issue is that you're bringing to counseling, aka therapy. What brings you here today?
I'm just dealing with a lot of stress, anxiety, depression, loneliness. There's a lot of negative emotions.
Okay, all right. Well, I think we can assist you to the best of our ability today. There's a few different things I need to go over before we get started, and that's confidentiality. Whatever you say is not going to leave this room. I am a therapist in training, so I may consult in my direct supervisor, but other than that, the information will not leave this room. Now, there is some limits to confidentiality, and they're very important that I explain them to you, because I don't want you telling me something and then me having to report, and then you forming a resentment. So with that said, if you tell me anything that includes hurting yourself or others, that's something that I'm mandated to report. It's important that we understand that, but it's also important that you still tell the truth if you do have some issues with, like, maybe suicidal tendencies or wanting to hurt yourself. But it's very important that we both understand that. I have a confidentiality contract, and everything in it talks about what I just said. And if you would, I would appreciate if you could give me a signature. Please feel free to read it over if you like. Okay. I have another release, and this release consists of you giving me permission to share this information if needed with my direct supervisor for consultation.
Okay.
The main point of this is if I have any questions or don't know how to particularly assist you, I want to make sure that you get the best service that you can, that you came for, and that you deserve. And I may need to ask some questions to somebody who's a little bit more seasoned of a professional. With that said, I've been working in the field for quite a few years, and I understand how it goes, but I just want to make sure you get the absolute best service possible. So if you don't mind, I'd like to get a signature on this too. This just states that, like I said, I can share the information with my supervisor. Sweet. With confidentiality, is there any other questions that you'd like to ask towards it?
I don't believe so.
No?
I think I understand.
Okay. Do you think that by me asking you to sign, or by me explaining the limits of confidentiality, do you think you would hold anything back because of that?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I'm here for help, so anything that I hold back is just going to hurt me.
Okay. All right. Cool. By chance, have you been experiencing any kind of suicidal tendencies or thoughts or anything like that?
I think everybody does when they go through something like that.
Okay.
But not serious ones.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't intend to hurt myself. If I did, I wouldn't be here. I'm here to try to figure out how to get better.
Okay. All right. Well, I just needed to know that because, I know that people go through things, and it's one thing that is important to ask during this kind of setting. What about homicidal tendencies? Is there any kind of tension or resentment towards anybody that might make you want to hurt somebody?
I mean, again, there's fantasy and there's reality. In a realistic situation, no. I mean, we all get angry and we all imagine doing things that we shouldn't do, but I think the reality is that you're not going to do those things.
Okay.
So, no, I don't have any of that.
All right. All right. Well, it sounds like we can move on. So what I have in front of me is an informed consent contract. Basically, I'm going to give you a rundown. That rundown is going to be what's going to be involved in therapy. It's important for us to explain to you so you don't get blindsided halfway through treatment and say, well, I didn't sign up for this, so we want you to know exactly what's going to be included within your therapeutic realm. Our biggest goal here is to create a therapeutic alliance between you and I and build some rapport, and this session's about you, so we want to make sure that it benefits you to the best of our ability. So informed consent. Treatment is going to include some one-on-ones, and this is considered the assessment, and we're going to get down to the meat of the problem a little bit here today too.
Okay.
What it'll usually look like is we can see each other every week or every couple weeks. It says that down in here. Really, it's just based on your needs and your schedule. We don't want to hinder your life in any way, but we do want you to come and see us. So, also, groups could be an aspect if you agree and feel like you might want it. And then maybe some referrals to other programs if you feel like you might need. So tell me something. Do you have any issues with drugs and alcohol?
I wouldn't say issues. I don't really do drugs. I've never been a drug user.
Uh-huh.
I've had my battles with alcohol, and it kind of comes and goes.
Okay.
But nothing that's like hindering my life in
Okay.
that way.
Has there been any recent drug or alcohol use?
Oh yeah.
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 Well, alcohol use.
Yeah, mainly on the weekends.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, before the end of this meeting, and you're not mandated to do this or nothing, but it's just a suggestion. And if you feel like you could get some benefit out of it, you can participate. But I'm going to get you an AA and NA sheet. All right. So if you don't mind, this is the informed consent with everything we talked about. If you could sign and date, please. All right. Moving right along. All right, so what brings you here today? I know we talked a little bit about it.
The last couple of years, I mean, in layman's terms, have been a living hell for me.
So, you want to explain that a little more?
Lost my dad
I'm sorry.
2 years ago, not even yet. And then, I went through all that. And my mom, she had a mental crisis at that time, so I went through all that with her. And then she was diagnosed with lung cancer. She didn't smoke. She was 63 years old. So I went from losing my dad, not being able to mourn him because I had to take care of my mom, I had to think about her, to her getting cancer, and then that turned into a whole new set of stress and pain and mental anguish. I moved her in with me, physically took care of her and watched her deteriorate until she eventually died. And so within a 2 year period or a year and a half period, I lost both parents. I had to deal with all of their paperwork, all of their possessions, all of their, everything. I had family issues because of all of that. And it's just been extremely stressful and lonely because I did it all on my own pretty much. Yeah, and it's not been good.
Well, first off, I'd like to say sorry for your loss. It's got to be a tragic thing. And if it sounds right, it sounds like, if I heard you right, it sounds like that you're might be grieving now, both of your parents, because you finally got a little bit of room to breathe.
Yep.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's kind of like delayed reaction.
Okay.
So,
So rewind a little bit. You said that your mother had sort of a mental breakdown or a crisis after Dad died. Does she have a history of mental illness?
no.
No.
But when he died, the circumstances around his death, she just literally broke down. She fell into the floor. I physically had to carry her. Basically from the second that he died, I became everything to her. And so my concern was not on myself, it was on her. I became her caregiver, her mental health caregiver, her physical caregiver. She would call me, she lived 2 hours away. She would call me at the drop of a hat. I would drop everything and go, sometimes in the middle of the night. She took up a lot of my time and energy because that was my mother.
And then you eventually moved her in.
Eventually, yeah, when she got sick, I brought her to me. I put her in a cancer center, and then took a leave of absence from my job, so I was with her 24/7. And again, my concerns were primarily for her. I didn't think about myself. I fell into that role. And then when she was gone, I experienced just tremendous feelings of guilt because I had all of her stuff. I had, she left me everything, but I didn't feel like it was mine. I felt like I had to take care of it because she was coming back to get it somehow. There's just a lot. I had nightmares. I went through a serious depression. Didn't want to leave the house. So, yeah, the person that I was, the man that I was 2 years ago, I'd like to get back to that guy, but I'm having trouble figuring out how to do it because my life has totally changed. I don't have my parents anymore. I'm not feeling that role as a son. It's like I'm in a whole new realm now, and I'm trying to rebuild who I am, if that makes sense.
So if I heard right, it sounds like you liked the person that you was, and that
It's not so much that I like the person that I was. It's that the person that I was, the roles that I filled for so many years, they're gone. And I really don't know now. When I say I want to get back to the man that I was, I want to be assured on what my life is supposed to be. What am I supposed to do? What are my roles? I'm not used to not having someone else to think about, to not putting someone else in front of me. Because now it's just me. They're gone, it's me, and I'm not sure how to move forward with that because I've always been the go-to for them. They were my life.
did you ever, before all the crisis, Dad and then Mom, did you ever see yourself having to be the full-time caregiver for your mother or father?
No, because my mom was so much younger than my dad. She was only 20 years older than me. I always believed, and just from her lineage, that she would probably outlive me. Her parents lived to be in their 90s, her aunts and uncles. You know, that's just something that's normal in their family. So to lose her at 63 years old was unheard of. And so that was a huge shock for me.
I see.
So there again, I always worried about what would happen to her when I was gone because I believed I would go first. And so when she died so young, it was like, you know, keep referring to freight trains. You know, these are freight trains that hit you when you lose someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big one because all of a sudden I was faced with a situation that I hadn't planned for.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I worried about her and what her reactions would be at my loss, how she would be, and then all of a sudden one day she's gone and I'm here. So, like I said, I'm just kind of lost. I'm trying to figure out, you know, how to take those steps to move forward and deal with that mentally.
Okay. Tell me, I don't want to word it as you feel abandoned now that your role is over and your parents are gone, but you're obviously feeling some sort of way about it, and that's why you're here. And I give you a lot of credit for coming because this is a good thing. Psychotherapy can be a good tool to process your feelings on issues like this, and it takes a lot of bravery to come in and ask for help. So since you haven't got this role in your life anymore, have you put anything in it to fill that void?
I went back to school while I was going
Nice.
through school
Nice.
when all this happened. I finished school dealing with all this, so
Very
that
nice.
was an accomplishment. It was not easy. I got a new job. You know, trying to be responsible, trying to move forward and have something stable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm proud of myself for that. So I am making progress, but that anxiety that I feel never goes away. The constant worry about what's going to happen. I don't have people to run to now. If something goes wrong, it's me. I'm on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have someone to speak for me. You know, no one loves you like your parents do. And so, you know, those people being in your life, you can always go to them. They're always going to have your back. But when you lose them, suddenly like I did, and you are hit with that realization that they're gone, no one is going to help you. You're on your own. That's terrifying.
It's a lonely feeling.
Terrifying. And so that anxiety about, you know, it just compounds, and then you get to the point where you imagine the worst, and then you convince yourself that that's what's going to happen, and it's crippling. It's just constant fear.
Mm.
And I'd say that's my biggest issue.
Mm. What's your daily routine look like?
I get up in the morning,
Early?
get ready for work. I mean, I have kids, so they go off to school. My wife, she goes off to her job. I go to my job. Like I said, it's pretty new, so I'm still learning. So, you know, I try to put all that negativity, I try to leave that at the door and not let it show. And I try to learn my job, do the best that I can at it to get a good reputation. And then, but in the back of my mind, it's always there. It's always, you know, you try not to think about it, but it's always there. There's 100 things to worry about. And then I leave work at the end of the day, and the problems are there. They're waiting in my car, and I start to stress about them again. And then I come home, we eat dinner, put the kids to bed, and then I'll sit there for a couple hours and stress out and worry. And then it'll start again the next day.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is there any kind of activity that you do for yourself? You know, just something that's yours, something that makes your soul happy, that keeps you busy and occupied and gets you out of your head.
There used to be, before all this. You know, I used to be a musician.
Oh, cool.
I used to produce music, had a YouTube channel. But I lost, I don't feel happiness anymore. I don't feel calm. And so to try and do something like that when you're just all bound up with all this anxiety, it's almost impossible.
Mm.
So I just quit. And I hope to get back to it someday if I can ever get myself lined out. But right now, no, I don't do anything.
Okay, all right. Um, how do you have a support system at home?
I have my wife.
Wife and kids? Does she give you some comfort
As much as she can.
as she can?
But as a man, like I've said, you know, as a man, it rests on your shoulders. As a father, as a husband, as a provider, you have to take care of the family. And so that's stressful enough in itself on a normal day. But when you're worried about all these other things, when you go through all this tragedy, and you want to quit, you want to break down, you want to just go find a rock, crawl under, and be left alone, but you can't because you have the weight of responsibility. And so something happens in your brain to where you just sort of become a robot. Physically, you're functioning because you have to, you have people that depend on you, but mentally, you have ran away. And so it causes problems. Yes, I have a support group, but at the same time, my heart and my mind, and they're somewhere else. And so when there's something that needs taken care of, and I'm constantly preoccupied with my thoughts, and I don't do those things, or they don't seem important to me, and a lot of that goes on the wife's shoulders, and that causes stress for her because I'm not present. And all these things, they just culminate into one big issue that something has to give. It can't go on this way forever. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
Okay. Where would you like to see your life as far as being past the grieving in the next, say, month to a year? I know that's a big gap, but
Well, realistically, like I said, you know, when I lose my parents like that, or when I lost them like that soon together, and I have all of their affairs still to take care of, you know, I had all of their possessions. Now, emotionally, I feel like it's my responsibility to keep those things and keep them safe and take care of them. But I would like to get to the point to where, you know, I mentally say goodbye to them and stop worrying about things that I can't change, that I wish that I could. Stop feeling like I'm responsible for things that I'm not responsible for.
Very interesting.
That's probably one of the hardest ones. I would like to wake up in the morning and just focus on my wife and my children, and there's always going to be things to worry about, but I want to worry about the things that I can actually fix, things that I can actually change. I don't want to feel the guilt for things that I shouldn't feel guilty about. I just want to move forward with my life and be normal, just because now I'm the parent. And my children are coming up, and I'm there to back them up, and I'm there to speak for them. and I want to be the best at that I can possibly be. But like I said, I'm still to the point where I'm preoccupied with my own experiences, and I feel like they're suffering for that because I'm not totally present.
Oh,
And I want to get to that point. I want to, like I said earlier, I want to be the guy I used to be. I want to wake up assured of what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to be. My priorities need to be them in my current life, and I want to let go of the past and not let that weigh me down, because all it is just draining my energy.
okay,
So
that makes sense. You said there's still stuff to sort out and some stuff to let go. Do you have siblings helping you with the matter?
no,
No?
No.
Is there any other siblings?
I have half siblings.
Okay, all right. Is there any current plan on sorting through the stuff and letting it go, or?
I've told them that if there's anything they want, they can come and go through everything and take.
Not to interrupt, but that might actually give you a little bit of time for bonding and talking with them and figuring things out and finding a way to get it behind you.
It could.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you don't mind, I have some suggestions. I would like to refer to you to a adult grieving group for caregivers. It's a group that you can attend, and it's not necessarily the kind of group that you just come for 8 weeks and you're done. It's more of a group that you can come and sit on as long as you want or whenever you want. It's kind of like in a self-help type of setting, so it's not even involved in our entity, right? And that, for starters, would that sound like something that you could benefit from?
Possibly.
Possibly.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, okay. No pressure, but if I'll give you the list and time of when it meets, and if you want to do it, you do it. And if you do, it might be beneficial that we talk about some of the things that was spoken upon within the group here with me. And also, whether it's every week or every 2 weeks, maybe you can come see me and we'll start with, say, 6 sessions. And if you still have things to process by the last session, then we can extend it or see what we can do to continue providing services. Have you ever done any journaling?
A little, not much.
No? Well, when you did do it, did you get anything out of it, or was it just a...
Honestly, when I did it, I always had in the back of my mind that someone might read it, and so I held back.
Oh, okay.
And that's not what you're supposed to do with a journal.
Oh, yeah.
So, no, I really didn't do it much.
Really? Would you be open to trying it if, like if, let's say I referred you to a place where you could get a locking journal?
I mean, I'll try anything at this point.
Well, like I said, if you don't mind me suggesting, I would suggest that when you're feeling these feelings of loneliness and grievance and maybe even a hair of abandonment, it'd be beneficial that you write these feelings down, and then the next day maybe write down some things that you did to get out of your head. And the key to this is to attempt to find solutions and to get you out of your head. And because ultimately filling your time up and, you know, putting this manner behind you is our goal. I mean, I feel like we all can relate that grievance is a thing that a lot of times can be lifelong, you know. and it's a tough thing to deal with, but I really feel that a little bit of journaling could help you come to your own conclusion and how to do this. I just want to be here as a coach to push you in the right direction.
Okay.
So tell me, what part of town you in? North, south, east, west?
The east side.
The east side? Okay. Well, I got some meetings here, and I will circle. Let's see, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this. You don't have to go. I'm just giving you this for a tool. If I know you don't drink much, but if you feel like that might be contributing to your feelings of depression, then you might consider showing up. There's a lot of good things said in there. But these 4 here are the East Side meetings. Like I said, if you don't want to, you don't got to. It'll just be a benefit and resource for you. And let's see, today is Friday the 2nd. What do you think would be a better day for you to come back to see us?
Fridays are good.
Fridays are good. You want to do 1 or 2 weeks?
Let's start with 2.
2 weeks, so that will be the 16th. Put that in my calendar here. Is there anything else that you want from me? Is there anything that I can do for you?
I don't believe so.
No?
Just help point me in the right direction.
All right. I can do my best at that. I hope I've provided a valid service for you, and I hope I get to see you again.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Darren. It was nice meeting you.
You too.